One of the amazing things about online dating is that with Tinder and OkCupid and Match.com, with all the apps and websites out there, you have more choices for who to date than you ever could have had. I mean, 80 years ago, we know from research, people tended to marry people who went to their local elementary school, who lived within a couple of blocks of where they lived. And now people spend their 20s and much of their 30s looking all over the place and all over the internet for a great person. So you would think that, wow, more options, more choices, that'll only be a boon to me. But in fact, what we know from research, and specifically from a theory by a guy named Barry Schwartz, a psychologist who wrote a book called The Paradox of Choice, is that actually having more choices can be a very difficult thing, right? It turns out that people who have far more options often don't experience happiness about that. First of all, they have a very hard time figuring out what's the best thing and which choice they should make. They're constantly checking the facts and trying to figure out what they really want. But second of all, once you do make a choice, if you have lots of options, you start to regret the choices that you didn't make, whether it's like shopping for jam in a grocery store, which is what the classic study on this was about, or figuring out what to watch on television. And the same holds true in dating. That's why we found that a lot of people who have all these options are actually driving themselves crazy. It actually is very, very stressful and difficult to date in the age of Tinder and Match.com. And many of the new dating sites are restricting people's choices. They're actually giving you fewer people you can ask out on a daily basis.